Either that whole moths to the flame thing was wrong, or there was some really big moths. Hey everyone, welcome back to more Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time, we beat the boss of the underground waterway. And this time, we're making our escape, because I just avoided all the battles in between. Isn't this... It is the Oast District. Seems we have emerged in the Oast District. Machias' home is here, if I'm not mistaken. I had no idea that underground passage went all the way from the port to here. The Orc tells me the city does seem to cover a vast area. There's something on the spy novel. I'll say. Maybe it's a sign. Is that? It's been the chime to mark the noon hour. Yeah, it's Heimdall Cathedral's bell. The cathedral itself is pretty far away over in the Sank district, but you can hear it pretty clearly even here. Well, I think it's about time we found something to eat. How about we order to go from us? We don't really have much, but I'd be happy to at least treat you to coffee at our house. What? You mean Machias? You're inviting us to your home. Let's grab some fish and chips to go from a nearby pub. On my own hand, they head to Machias' house to enjoy lunch with a good cup of coffee. Ah, so this is the capital's famous fish and chips. Expecting me to be delicious, but even still, I'm impressed. Yeah, the place is known for their fish and chips. I'll admit it tastes good, but at the end of the day, it's still greasy comfort food. Better eat it while it's hot. It tastes disgusting for letting it cool off. That was still better than wartime. But food isn't. Coffee seems pretty high class, though. It's got a nice, rich fragrance. Buy your own beans and grind them at home. Looks like my father went out and stocked up not too long ago. Now and then, he gets the chance to take some time away from his duties and come relax back here. Jesus, coffee is a small island of luxury in this hectic daily life, I think. That does sound something like I could see Governor Regnitz saying. Seems like quite a respectable man to me. I could hardly imagine a home like this belongs to like the Imperial Governor. It's tiny. You know, Fee, it wouldn't hurt to be a little less blunt. No worries. As I said, my father and I are calendars through and through. He might be a top official, but neither of us really saw that as a reason to change our whole lifestyle. Besides, it's not as though we don't have some attachment to this house. Right. It does seem like a comfy place to live in, though. Really cozy and relaxing.
Ooh, there's a photo.
Oh, that.
Aww, look at cute little Machias there.
He looks like he had such a sweet disposition.
Yeah, before he grew up to be a stubborn old nag.
Stop nitpicking people's old family photos! Honestly.
The governor looks the same as ever, though. Is that woman next to him your older sister or something?
Close enough. She was a cousin on my father's side of the family. Since she lived quite close, she often came to visit. Our family was just my father and I, so having her around was a big help.
The way you speak about her seems to imply you no longer see her. Did she get married and move away?
She died around 6 years ago.
Oh.
I see. And that has something to do with why you hate the nobility, right?
So...
I never really planned on telling anyone about this, but considering all we've been through, I suppose it's time I told you a little more about me. It's a long story, but would you hear me out?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Glad to.
Thanks. Sis was 9 years my senior. Beautiful, kind. To me, she was in every sense the ideal woman. Now, as I said earlier, we're a family of commoners through and through. But my father proved to be a very capable government official. And eventually, he was promoted to an important government position, where he started to make a name for himself. Honesty and integrity are a core part of his work ethic. So, of course, he made his fair share of enemies. But after seeing success in a number of major projects, he gained a reputation both inside and outside the government. My mother died when I was still young, but Sis happened to live around here and ended up helping us in more ways than I can count. Since she was his niece, my father always made a fuss over her. And even though she didn't live in the same house, she was like a real sister to me, and a real daughter to my father. I was always so proud of her. As a child, she was practically my idol. And as you'd expect, she had countless admirers among the men of the city. But for all her popularity, she was always level-headed and sensible. So I never felt I had anything to worry about, until he appeared. He was one of my father's subordinates at City Hall, though unlike him, he was a noble by birth. A man of high rank, too. The heir of a count. However, he had none of the arrogance or haughtiness one usually associates with the nobility. When I met him myself, he came across as an honest and loyal man. He met Sis when Dad introduced him to her one day, and eventually the two of them fell in love and began a relationship, despite the difference in their social status. As a child, I was frustrated beyond words, but even I had to admit that the two of them made a good couple. And Sis seemed so happy when she was with him that I had no choice but to let it go and accept their relationship. Time went on and they became engaged, with Dad acting as the go-between. And that's when everything started to fall apart. His family couldn't have been more blatant in their attempts to undermine the relationship. Apparently, one of the four great houses, House Cayenne, proposed an arranged marriage on short notice, and the Count's family were up in arms at the thought he might choose to take a mere commoner as his wife. Since my father held an important post, they were limited in how shamelessly they could try to sabotage the marriage. They began to harass and threaten her in secret every way they could think of. They made her life a living hell. Maybe she didn't want to cause trouble for the man she loved, or perhaps she did it out of consideration for my father. But all that time, she chose to endure it alone. She never discussed it or asked for help. And finally, it became so crushing that she took her own life. It was only afterward that my father and I learned what had really happened. It seems that at the very last, he had chosen to betray her love for him. "But I told her," he said. "I told her I'd treasure her as my mistress instead if she'd just accept that we couldn't be married. I just don't understand it. Why would she take her own life?" After that, my father seemed to redouble his efforts. It was like watching a machine kick into high gear. With the help of his ally, Chancellor Osborne, he was able to wrest control of City Hall from the noble faction. Then, 4 years ago, he was appointed to his current position as governor of Heimdall. And that's how the Regnitz family came to be where it is.
I don't even know what to say.
So that's why you started hating nobles?
Yeah. I was so furious at Sis's death. My hatred needed to be directed at someone. Anyone. First I blamed her fiancé, then his family, then the family of the Duke who tried to intervene. In the end, I just hated the nobility as a whole. The people, their culture, the entire idea of social classes. I desperately wanted the strength to win against them, to show how right I was, how wrong they were. But deep down, I knew the truth about my hate. I knew I was taking out my anger on people who didn't deserve it. People who had done nothing wrong.
You did?
They may be from different social classes, but people are still individuals. Sis's fiancé was faithful to her. He just wasn't strong enough to shield her from all that ugliness, despite his love. And the Count and his family were only acting in their best interests, which is to be expected, really. Ultimately, I've had to acknowledge that not all commoners are good people, and not all nobles are unworthy of respect. Eustace might not have done much to change my opinion, but getting to know you two showed me that there are nobles who live up to that name.
Machias.
I have no idea how my father feels about all of this, but this is how I've come to feel.
I see. You have my thanks.
I'm glad you felt you could talk to us about it.
Still, I don't think it hurt to be a bit more honest with yourself. If you're willing to admit all of that, maybe you can find it in you to be friends with Eustace too.
Are you kidding me?
I might accept that not all nobles are bad, but that arrogant, self-centered fool can go choke on a palm. Or he's mocking me for spending so much time studying, or telling me I need to get out more.
I don't think he goes quite that far. Besides, I don't think he does it on purpose. He doesn't mean any harm.
That's the most irritating part! He does it without thinking!
Well, that was a good coffee break, wouldn't you say?
Machias can now use the S-Craft Ultimate Shot. This is definitely the part of the JRPG where, you're in the middle of the game, and you get a ton of story, but I think it does it really well by exploring the characters. Because, just with this, we've already learned, we're only 2 days in of the 3, and we've already learned a lot about all 4 of our party members. We've learned how Laura feels, we've learned about Elliot and Fee and Machias' past, we've learned some stuff about Elliot, and yeah, lunchtime's over, lunchtime's over. This will be almost time for the summer festival decorations to start going up. I thought preparations for that would start way before now. Summer festival, not that big of a deal in Keppel? Depends on who you ask, I guess. I just thought it's one of those small yearly traditions. In my hometown, the summer festival is a major event with extensive preparations. Perhaps it's places where the ancient animistic traditions survive, put more effort into celebrating the festival. Animism does seem to have mostly vanished here. Not as much as in Mirror or Crossbell, though. Well, I suppose it's hard to think of it as a seasonal festival in the capital when it's celebrated a month late to begin with. The thing was for it to see as an opportunity to catch a glimpse of the Imperial family. Yeah, that sounds about right. Makes sense. Huh? Is there a rocket ring? What's doing ring out here? Class 7, Group A, me short speaking. Hello there, Reed. This is Carl Regnitz. Governor Regnitz? Dad? I think we did say we'd have to be able to use our Argus communication functionality in our city, did he? Your Group's A representative, so I figured it would be best to call you. Now a good time? Yeah, no, it's totally fine. Actually just left your home. Max and mine to send for coffee. Did he now? I had a favorite specialty store, roast those beans just the way I like them. Top-notch grill, right? While it's been going on, it was nice to just sit down and enjoy a good cup of coffee. Well, I'm glad you were able to spend some quality time together. Anyway, getting to the point, Cohen guys have a bit of a problem on our hands. That being the case, I'd like Group A to take care of one additional task for me. An extra task? Yeah, sure, but what is it exactly we'd like to do? It appears to have been a burglary at a jeweler in the Garnier district. That's not all. The culprit seems to have left a message addressed to you. Confusion is understandable. Well, the jeweler submitted a report of the burglary to City Hall a short while ago. I don't know if it's the proper authorities, but you'd be willing to go and check to see if there's anything you can do. Well, so we'll head over to the Garnier district once. What was that all about? My wife seemed perplexed. I'll wait till you hear this. So, the jewelry boutique was burglarized and the couple left a message addressed to us? Weird. But think about it, this all sounds kind of familiar. Yeah, now that you mention it, I'm getting a strange sense of deja vu as well. Still, it would have been helpful if my father could have furnished a few more details. It's already past noon, so over to the Garnier district and find out what happened. We're not gonna do that right this second. Or maybe we are. Burglar at the jeweler's. And yeah, we want to go to some other places first. Because we have some miscellaneous things to take care of. Hopefully, now, Gamgee's actually willing to give us his recipe for his fish. How'd you like your lunch? Give me someone who claims to have had better fish and chips and I'll show you a liar. For you to find the word delicious. I even have a plate of those right now. That's what I like to hear. Let me give you the recipe if you like them so much. You sure you should be giving out the recipe for your signature dish? Ah, no problem. Then beats freshly made fish and chips. You kids wouldn't be able to get them if you weren't here. Seems like Machias told you everything there is to know about his family history. Keep looking out for me, would you? How'd you realize that? I was thinking I wouldn't notice when you came along to get food with that glum look on your face. Get that from your dad. So yeah, right there, take care of that quest. We also want to just head back to Vanquire Street, Because I'm going to guess we have our 2,000 steps in. Hey, don't think in turns test I see. If I get those back, by all means. Plus, we've walked pretty far, but they're still in near perfect shape. I think I'll be able to recommend these to our customers with no reservations at all. Still want to get another good look at them later, but I'm confident enough to order another batch right now. Glad to be of assistance. Shred Corporation must be quite the company if they've been around for 50 years, though. We've got some history, alright. Still not too well known in Arabonia. Partially because we've historically been one of the most protectionist countries on the continent. That's been changing bit by bit over the past 10 years thanks to Chancellor Osborne's reforms. There was a new clause added to the Customs Act at the end of last year that further relaxed import restrictions too. That's what made me start stocking straight stuff, actually. I'm sure the nobles are feeling frustrated over that, considering the restrictions only benefited them. It's a good thing for the common people, though. Chancellor Osborne knows what he's doing. Frighteningly well. Pretty much, yeah. Oh yeah, I should give you a reward for it, I forget. As a result, I'll give you a brand spanking new pair of these shoes just test out for me. I need some specific for tests, but there's no need to worry about these. They're transistor free. If there's anyone that's long to talk properly. My thanks. Cheers. So that's that. Thanks again for the test help. I didn't actually check what the shoes do. They're good. Need some good shoes. And we can probably improve our shoes. Another 9k. Let's boost up our equipment. And over to Reen. I'm sure both Fee and Laura would love to be wearing a frilly dress. That's more defensive, but less offensive. Ooh, but evade plus 10. I know I just wasted some money, but oh well. Everyone except for Laura will get a new pair of red shoes. And we'll just sell all of our stuff. I could make this a little bit quicker by, you know, actually going through and taking care of some of the stuff. Whatever, it's fine. I'll eventually check through all of my accessories to see which ones I can sell off. Because I could probably make a decent bit of money from that. And yeah, I'll eventually again sort through all of my quartz. Probably earth though, all the bell ones I can sell, honestly, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But that's really all we need to take care of today. So, next time, we'll be heading out and checking out the jewelers. So until then, see you guys later.